statistics on Plan 4, and you're taking 80 people from 2 and put them in 5. Don't we know what the numbers are?
Should work. Take 4, we've got to move the people from 5, and we've also got to move these. Sounds like that will work.
And we should be able to look at, I mean, that's why the first thing I want to know really is how many people do we need to move in order to get within conformity. I don't want to start from the premise that we're making this change up here,
Right.
which is going to may radically alter the voting age percentages. Because you'd be putting 80 people, no, I don't know, putting 80 people from Cree Street back in 2.
You have to make sure what the black and white, because you take too many people and you're going to drop the percentage.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Well, you're working between 2 and 5, which are 2 of the high districts anyway, and you're just going to flip-flop a few from one to the other.
But here's the dilemma, Mr. Gates.
4 is...
Before you run, here's the dilemma. You're talking about 170 people here, right? Right? Going from 2 to 5, right? But if you put the Cree Street people back, you're taking 80 people from 5 and putting them in 2. So your net shift is only 90 people. You've only added 10 more people, right? If you put the Cree Street people back.
With both of them.
What?
We're supposed to be going the same way with both of them, or we're not going right anyway.
Or you want to add another 170 people to that 80 to make a shift of 250 people?
2. Let's go back and look at Cree Street.
See, that's why you sort of need to know how many people.
She was taking that into 5 and out of 2, right?
That's right.
Right.
That's the same thing we're doing here. We're
That's
taking it
right.
into 5 and out of 2.
Right.
So they're both going the same direction.
That's 250 people.
That's right.
Is that how many we need to
That's
move?
probably so.
But that's the question I asked initially. Run the number 250 and see what happens. Does it need to be 250 or only 150?
I got to go get the plan for
You can see it's 250, but all I can do is do a little mathematics in my head, but I think that's too many people.
That sounds high to me, because he only made the move with 80 people before.
What did you say, 170 students?
Yeah, 170 in addition to the 80.
That's the one she just gave you.
See, what happens to 5's percentage of that one becomes fairly big.
The original Plan 4 data is not right. If anything,
Where's your Plan 4 as corrected that we were looking at? Do we have that sheet right there? Please? This is what you were looking for, right?
I think there were a few small corrections made after this, but anyway. This shows that 2 has 281 people, and we took out that's 173 in one place and 80 in another.
It's 253.
281. That's not gonna work. We took them all from 5.
You added them all to 5.
Yeah,
Took them all from 2.
now 5's too high.
Take them
But
all.
why do you have to have 250 people? And why, shouldn't you be working with a smaller number?
Well, let's see if we split them. 47,
Okay.
3281.
Tonight,
164.
you don't have to do that till midnight.
4.
Good thing. You know what one's at?
Will work.
All them in Tupperware now, they're taking out. Two.
Wait a minute,
47.
total will be 2. And if you take out S, he has to plan 4. Total will be 2. If you take out 80, if you take out 80 and well out of B2 and put them in B5, you take out 173 out of B2 and put them in B5, you put them back into B5. 253 that you're taking off that leaves you 258 in
About
B2.
17 people or so.
And then you add 2, 3,047.
All right, so if you have 80 already from Webb, right? Right? What you need is another 37 people. That's one option.
So you have a plus over here. Plus instead of a minus, that's gonna make him a minus.
Because over 4 weeks out of Russian.
Or leave Webb alone.
You don't know.
But let's try it systematically. Instead of trying to everybody do it in their heads, why don't we first find the option like we talked about of increasing the number of people in Webb, right? And see what those numbers look like, and see what the percentages look like. And then you can take a look at the Tutwiler option if you want to. But if we do this systematically, we can cover the bases and we can solve the problem. The problem is we're mixing the negotiation process with the technical process, and it's getting confused.
Like Frank don't say how y'all work it all with all these people standing around. I just can't work it with.
Understand
I
that?
have to get off by myself or with 1 or 2 people.
Yes, let me just ask you a question. If you put those 8 people in B2, in
Problem is whether this starting place is right.
we can take some of that anyway,
If it is.
if we make it back even. Go to 80 side, I can B2, and you take it. If you take 60, break even on that. That's 9 perfect. All right? Now then, if you got,
What's the problem?
that is close. We didn't take it and take out the cut and put it be something what you're trying to get. That's a start.
We backed up back where it was
That's all I need.
Saturday.
Well, that's gonna get close.
And what I've got in here is the results of what I did all this.
I couldn't understand how they did
This is
We had a,
that's your perfect right
see, that's why I wanted to keep the negotiation process in.
deal right there.
Have a simple solution where,
This is
right?
what the BT will come from.
Percentages read right, 80 people. Why don't you take another 37 people, see how those numbers work, and see if that's an
I
option.
mean, that's what I asked if we started with this morning, why they didn't just do it in Tupperware. Hand it all over.
Yeah. There's, the maps are in there. I think we can pick out pretty close quick.
if,
where we can move some.
going by your figures, before anything was done, Plan 4, when you came in here, was 3,047 and 5 in it, and your numbers there. 2 is 3281, so that means it's plus in 2 and minus in 5. Going back and leaving Creek Street just like it was, if you came in here with it without moving it back into beat 5, leave it in 2, leave those 80 people in beat 2. Okay? Go up John Tutwiler, take those 173 people out of 2 and put it in 5. That, you taking them out of 2 and putting them in 5 is all you're doing. That's what
Then you have to look at the impact of that on the percentages.
Sure, you gotta run it all through there. First, you got to get close to ideal number.
We understand that. We understand that.
Either place. Is the place we're looking at in Webb, is that mostly black or white?
Mixed.
Mostly black,
It'd be mostly black,
mostly black.
but it's some.
And some white. About 15% white, the rest of it black.
Between the two, we could probably make the percentage come out where we want. Or make it stay about where it is. But that's moving a little awful.
So why don't you take a look at that and see if we can come back with a proposal that accomplishes that result. And keep the percentages the same as we've got them there, you know, in this, bring the deviation into order and keep the percentages where we've got them there. The percentages that I have, about that, right? 68.4, 69, 73.3. You can make the percentages work. That's what we agreed on basically last week, right? Yeah. In Plan 4, you actually had 69, 73.2, and 68.6. With the adjustment in Webb, they went to 68.4, 73.3, 60. I mean, either one of these are okay, right? This is a tenth of a point change here. This is 69, this is 68.6, that's the ballpark.
It's my opinion that if we can do that, get the numbers right, so we can get the plan adopted this afternoon.
Yeah. We gotta have a
That's ideal.
proposal.
3,000.
And if we make the changes to accomplish that in either Webb or Tutwiler, we'll probably.
Simple arithmetic, take
As long as the VAPs are right.
you come up with 32.
Let's go see what I can do to it.
Great.
Have anything to do with percentage of black light.
So we may take a little out of Webb and a little out of Tutwiler.
This is a little later after we agree to it. May have to have 3 or 4 people stay here several hours and map check the whole thing.
Anyway, you work it out. I thought the figure was like 3, something like that.
But he's not right on 32. 32 is plus 7.4.
Over about close to 400. So between 250 and 300, and 246 and Tutwiler. So I said, well, when I'm leaving, that's what I was going to say. They're only 26. Well, you want to stay around here bullshitting, you come back and you get your more
Well, you could. You could. If you have all 50%, then you get
Mr. Whip, we're gonna.
taking home. That's what I did right there.
Well, you told
Just
her,
took
didn't you?
Tutwiler, yeah.
What would be wrong with that, Peg?
Nothing wrong with it. I agree with
Well,
that.
that's what I said the first time this morning. Why didn't they leave the
I can't
80?
see the problem.
Why didn't they
I
leave
really
the?
can't see the problem. I don't see no problem either.
But we had 246 in Tutwiler.
Right.
What they told me when I left last Wednesday. All right, they took 80 here, and then they come back, it was still short. They had to take some more in Tutwiler. Well, why not just make an even swap? Leave this in way up. Take this out of road, shit. That's all I was trying to say. Jerome, he got that wrong. Jerome got the wrong idea. I would say, why couldn't you make an even swap and let that be it? I mean, I ain't give y'all no trouble all the way through on everything, but
You have to. And say between B2 and B5, and I can understand what you always say. You don't want to, you don't
I
want
mean,
to.
that people, man, every one of them may vote for me. I don't know what they do.
You don't want what they do. I don't want it either. And I was supposed to be real compact and spread it out. This is what I'm saying. Yeah.
If we get this thing straightened out like that, you don't have to give me a little campaign money now for getting this done for you.
And too many people do want to go out. That's a booger. Well, what do you mean? I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, we're getting all
stressed out. But it's stressed out. And you supposed to do it after you want to. So I do. I don't blame you. You wouldn't want nobody on the northeastern part of Charleston, which no way. The same way you do it.
What's wrong with that, Ed? Put that back in way up in that and just take it.
I agree wholeheartedly, but the only thing is,
I don't know about the.
butt off about that because I told Mr. Dunn and we had meetings on it that I did not want to see someone to go into that.
And I didn't want
everybody
to. I said it from the beginning.
that they didn't want to see it, and then they come here and argue 2 damn days about Tutwiler getting into that, and then now
I
the
never
only
wanted-
thing that's on the plan up is the fact that Tutwiler is in it.
I never wanted it
That's
either.
what I can't understand. You know, you have to
Eddie, I talked to you in Yonder Pride and told you that you asked me did I have any colored friends. You remember? I talked to you about Tutwiler in there. I talked about Tutwiler every meeting we ever had. I didn't. I mean, every one of them may vote for me. I may all vote. Yeah, I don't know nothing about that. That's just a long way. I mean, I couldn't see where I was doing anything wrong by what I was saying.
I agree 100%, but the only thing I'm looking at is when this came up today, it looked like to me that was trying to be a stall tactic. That's the only thing I was saying because we had fought against that, and that was going to plan up there.
You know when I said.
Somebody wanted to put Tutwiler in. Now somebody want to take it out, and like it's going to be the same
No,
thing
I
again.
traced that from the beginning, but just like y'all wanted. I said, well, they don't want it, and I don't. We're gonna get together on it. All right. When I see these maps he draws, it's when you see them. I hadn't told him nowhere to put a line, nowhere, except I've said I don't want it.
But see now, just like some of the people saying to me kind of upset because I had the meeting changed last night because there was no sense in all us coming and sitting up here and telling us what I was wanting. And then nothing get accomplished, but the man still on the night court looking at the telephone. And kind of calm.
Goddamn calculator with him.
I'll tell y'all what I'm gonna do. Anything.
Hell no, I ain't got one. Don't know
Is this thing off?
You got one, bring it with you. Same damn thing
Yeah,
with
you
you.
put being on mine.
Bring damn thing with you.
Those are our
Anything that I think we're gonna do is good or better than what this department and the good to do. I'm gonna go along with it. I'm not trying to back out. I just couldn't see why we couldn't have made even swap right here, and that would have all been over.
I've been wanting that all the time. I think everybody else been wanting the same thing all the time. So it
See, I
shouldn't
knew
be
they
no-
said they had 246 votes left in Tutwiler. Well, I was under about 300 short. I mean, too many. I said, well, I would put it within the range to take 240 something out in Tutwiler, and that would get it away with Tutwiler, and that'd put it back in it where we need to be, somewhere close. That was my point.
But that's logical. It shouldn't have never been put there in the first place.
When I saw those plans that he drawed is when you saw it, and I never told him no place.
So I don't read maps. Yeah. If it weren't for him, I'd be totally lost. I have to get every bit of advice on the maps that I get from him. I don't even, hey, you notice ever since we've been in the meeting, how many times you see me run up to a map trying to show somebody something?
I can't read them that well either. Not just looking at them for the first time. I don't know where I met till we go over them 2 or 3 times. figured up here a while ago, and he said, come out just about on the money to do, you know, if it would make us sweat, But whatever we want to do. If I don't live with it, I'll try to live with it.
Hey, but it's like, it would have been common sense to people that do this stuff for a living. Hell, me and you don't even do that for a living. Hey, you can sit there and see. I can see it.
Well, I figured that out the other day. I said, well, we need to, when they come up short, and I come up too many, I said, well, that'd be a swap out of time. Well, you know, 246, you need to move around 300, somewhere around 250 or something. I said, that'd be a good even swap. And I said, I asked Mr. Whitney, tell him to take when we left here Friday, I asked Mr. Whitney going in to tell him to see if he can get big way big trouble. I'll be out, and that's the first time I've opened my mouth about where to draw a line. First time. But if you get it done ahead of time, then that's the way you do it. If you don't have to go through it again, like the phone says here today, you don't have to go through it again if you're going to do it, and if everybody agrees to it.
I think everybody will. I don't think our committee's trying to be difficult. I don't think you all are trying to be difficult. And I think that first move by you all was a bad move for us because it was a hands-off approach. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. Chris, you want me to help you? You want me to help you? Want me to help you, Councilman? Oh.
I think we'll be all right. Yeah. In 2? Yeah.
2 went down.
Yeah.
So that's in your favor. Huh? You'll never know.
Well, yeah.
I know what you're saying.
If you,
And it went down the other way. It would be in my favor, I know that. I don't
but maybe
know
Mr.
that.
Savage wants to hold out for a higher black BAP in the district.
You don't want to move like AP now. We could have made it real simple and you don't want to move like this.
I'm teasing Mr. Savage.
All right, gentlemen, let's come forward now. We have been handed, each of us has received a copy of an amendment to Plan 4, and as we understood it, and correct us if we're mistaken, that the division of the county for the supervisor district has been agreed upon, except for some deviations that had to be corrected by making some slight changes. And these changes have been made. They were made in the town of Webb, and they are reflected in this Plan 4 amended map. Have I correctly stated that other things agreed upon? Are we in agreement to this?
Basically, this map is the map that was agreed upon on Wednesday, June 5th, except for the amendment in Webb. What happens here, if you look at the lines, is in contrast to what we showed you earlier today, that group of 80 people on North Cree Street are now back in District 2. Okay, so that first proposed change, which did not solve the problem, has been undone. The new proposal is just south of there, along the boundary of 5 and 4, but 4 is not affected by it. It's an exchange of people from 2 into 5, okay? And that, if you will look at the numbers that were run in Atlanta, will give you a deviation of approximately 7.2%, which brings you under the 10% one person, one vote deviation standard. I asked Freddie on the phone after we talked about what she had done here, Mr. Gates, and asked her if the numbers she ran utilized the information you gave her earlier so that they could correct their numbers. And she said, yes, basically, this integrates or interpolates the information you had given her. If there's anything that's not in here, it's that one split block that they don't have. But of course, that's very minor consequence. Yeah, so we're not worried about that. But she says otherwise, they used your numbers as you had, you all had worked out your corrections.
I will ask her if she'll send me a list of the census blocks so that we can match exactly. But I think from our conversation this morning, I think we're close enough that my numbers are going to come out very, very close to what she's got.
And my understanding is, is she going to be there till 4:30 our time, Eddie? Yeah. If you wanted to catch her now, before she leaves, that might save you a whole day, right? If she could fax them to you now. 4:30 our time would be 5:30 their time in Atlanta. And that way you could have that, you might be able to have that before we leave this afternoon, if you could call her now. Well,
She's going to have to print it out.
but at least she could do whatever she needs to do tonight.
Mike, you got my tablet.
I think it's in the other room, or on the desk. Or is that's it right there, yeah.
I'd hope to ask the board to talk to Mr. ask you to go ahead and help Mr. Gates with this.
Right.
Wait a moment.
Right. Now, one suggestion that was made in our group, which may make a neater option here, was at the bottom of your diagram, where you see that little curl between numbers 4 and 5. The suggestion was that if you ran along the tracks, is that right, John?
There's probably sitting on the two track.
There's that little open white space there. Apparently no people live there. And if you just ran that line straight instead of in the curl along the tracks, it would have the same result and it would be a neater look to it. It wouldn't have any people affected by it.
Nobody living in here.
No. So we thought that that might just be, did you try to reach her?
That's crazy.
Let's keep the city limits to the track, take the tracks out the same thing as doing
I
anyway.
can call her tomorrow.
Well, I invite the board of supervisors to ask First President and Mr. Gates,
That's what it was,
are we going to, maybe right now we see it.
getting all back. Basically, the only thing you do is take, this here, taking that new, that'll be new. Them people right in front.
Make any changes, or make
See up new members in 2 maps.
Mr.
They
Gates,
put them in 5.
one suggestion that Jerome had was that there are no people living in here.
All right, you still got
It might be neater to run the line,
which they already
square it
know.
off.
You keep them, you take on
If you look on
CF
this.
new members. It's in 2 maps, they'll come back to be 5.
Okay, I've got that whole block, right there where, Johnson Service Station.
Come out on the rail.
All the way down to the bottom.
What?
Come back down to Jim.
He was suggesting you could run it right down the railroad track, square it off.
Top of Cottonfield and back up to Benson.
Does that make sense? You want to show Mr. Gates what you're
no.
talking about, Jerome?
I'll show you why she did that.
Oh, she had a reason for that?
Yeah. On the census map, this is all one block.
Oh, so you
running
have
up
to do
into
that?
here, and there's 19 people in it. Now, they may all live right down here,
Yeah.
but it would have to show as a split block, and
There's no one living in there, so they had to.
So you're better off leaving it the way she did it, so you don't split that
yeah,
block.
you really are, but it's not a big thing. If you know there's nobody up there, we can do
There
that.
ain't nobody in there. Ain't nobody in that space there. I'm not saying they're not in that block, but they're not in that space right there.
See this little hook across here?
Yeah.
That means the Census Bureau considered that not a census line. They ran the line across it, meaning that this and this are all the same census block. And that's why she drew the line that
So
way.
maybe make it easier to leave it that way, huh?
Okay, but what is it? I mean, if I'm running, is it, I'm not gonna look across the cotton field and say, look,
Well, there's supposed to be a road right there. There should be a road.
Yeah, just leave it like this.
Just leave it like it is, Jerome.
Just a jet.
If no one out there, you can make a campaign.
If we can, folks, let's just make a clarification. Mr. Gates points out that that little squaring off that we were suggesting is perhaps not a good idea, because even though no people may live in there, when you go further down on the map, there is a continuation of that census block in which there are some people, and that in the long run it might be better not to split that block, so it won't create confusion later. And certainly for convenience, let's keep it as simple as possible right now. And so perhaps the better idea would be leave it just the way it's drawn. And we won't get into a mess later. Just the way you agreed on it last Wednesday, right? Nothing else has been touched.
These two should have, part of that line, 260 something, and then 46 or something.
It was part in 2 and part in 5. I can't remember the break. It's like 200 and some in one and 100 and something in the other.
You taking all of 2 out of Tutwiler?
No, we haven't touched 2. We haven't touched Tutwiler. Oh, it's just like you agreed upon it last week.
Oh, you left 2 in Tutwiler?
This is just, the plan is exactly like you agreed on last Wednesday, except for the change in web.
I thought they were going to take it out.
So nobody else had a question, we would like to move that this plan be adopted.
Let me take the group, I haven't had it together, let me take them together and see what to say. No, before the home, I came home. Be back in time and... Sure.
Yeah, we'll hold them down. We all right.
Yeah, it was on.
Would you like to hand a verdict to the clerk? Just kidding.
I've had that do lots of times. And there was company when it came out here.
These your glasses. Getting down on this end of it.
Glasses all over the place.
Looking through that, can't tell you about, I got the hell.
The board met and discussed the proposal as laid out, and I don't think anybody's going to be happy with it. Nobody said they was, and some of them said they weren't happy, but I believe the board is ready, and I now invite them to take whatever formal action you wish to take on the matter of redistricting according to the Plan 4 as amended as presented here this afternoon.
I'm gonna make a motion that we accept the plan for.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All the members of the board who wish to approve the motion, let it be known by raising your right hand. Wait a minute, now let's see if we can get them up.
Well, you got 3 votes.
I got to record them.
That'll be 4.
I got to record the names. I must record the names in the minutes. Okay,
Who are the 3?
Unanimous.
All 5 voting?
Yes, all 5.
All 5.
We try not to.
To accept the plan for the modification. As
Any
amended.
other changes will have to be
Yeah, right.
worked again, because all this does is put 4 on the burner, as I understand.
Yeah, right.
Now,
Is that right there?
yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
This one?
Now, should there be an official copy that you're working from that we can mark? just so that there's no misunderstandings?
I
That you
have no
so many-
digital copy, I don't know whether.
That's what I'm saying, should we create one, just for your record? You're gonna be making the formal plan, and you're gonna be drawing the order,
I'm
right?
supposed to draw the order in the morning. I think I'll have time to do it.
But if we could mark one copy and sign it, maybe, let's say, you know, Mr. Meeks and yourself could sign that copy, we'll know that that's what we're working from, so there can be no
That's-
misunderstanding.
Yeah, let me sign it instead of them, but let's not ask the board members.
That's what I said, you and Mr. Meeks.
Yeah,
Let's
okay.
say could
That'll be fine.
sign that, right, as the official copy, which you can attach to
correct
your
it out?
minutes, so there'll be no misunderstanding, right? Maybe we could date it today and sign it, right? And the data too that goes with that, what to do.
Okay, now, she is federally expressing me the list of all the census blocks that went into this.
Right,
And I'll have that tomorrow, and I'll match it up.
right.
If the data's, I expect it to be close.
Get a picture of my hand.
Let me have that pencil.
The data may come out a little different, but it should be close.
You want a different pen for each stroke?
Right, they like Bush, yeah. You can grab a pen and give
You're
them.
gonna continue with maps today. How long before you have a large map for the?
Give me that pen.
No, he needs to sign it.
I know this, but I want to swap pens though.
I'm giving you anyway, God. You know you ain't gotta worry about that too much.
Johnny B gonna swear that you read that
Now,
pen to me anyway.
wait a minute, before we get lost on this,
I'm not sure. It'll be sometime next week. Sometime next week,
okay, let's put these down here for a moment, okay?
maybe close to the end, but I hope to get a lot of it done.
Is there a plan that you've drawn of Plan 4, which this is the amendment to, which we could include with this so that the rest of the county is laid out, that we can sign off on?
I don't have a copy of this,
He might though.
but he may have one.
So we can include that so the package is clean.
I'm sure I have a copy, but I can't identify it. That's what I mean.
That's what I'm saying, he does though.
I want to take that for one, we had the other day.
You know, because if we can then put that together with this, and we can then run a photocopy downstairs, so that you have a set, and we have a set, we avoid the possibility of misunderstanding later as to which documents we should have been looking at. It's just a nice, clean way to finish, you know, a settlement, you know. Because I think he had a set that he was showing me earlier that we were working from. You have a large plan, right? Of farm, without the amendment.
Yeah, but I got the county.
That's right, the whole county is what I'm talking about. To which this is an amendment. Say,
Yes, inside the city limits.
what?
Yes, inside the city, I got the outside all city limits.
See, but then what you have to do, you can leave this as is here, and just amend it over on this somewhere way up here.
That's right.
We already
Yeah, but see,
signed
that's,
some.
that there,
Right.
see, that goes along with any amendments. This here goes along with any amendments. Any amendments, because it was done inside the city
Take
limits.
Plan 3
Right.
off of that, that's not Plan 3 now.
Put 4.
Yeah.
Huh, it is right here.
Can this be run on a photocopy? What?
Yeah, it'll run on the photocopy, it'll show it there.
Now, this is okay?
Yeah, everything is right.
This is with Sunmer inside here, right?
See, the changes that was made
In the city limits, right, in Charleston too. Because maybe we could sign off on this one. But do you have,
Let's talk about that.
The Tutwiler.
Y'all need to sign that.
okay, well, maybe, yeah. You'll need the Charleston one also, right?
I want a copy of the truck, one of the plans y'all had with the truck ride
Or
on.
maybe we can run a whole set for the board, and a set, you know, a couple of sets for us.
Well, this, one like this, you know, or whatever.
Well, let's write on this Plan 4 as amended. Right, so it'd be consistent with Plan 4 as amended. Okay. 6, that's good, it's already dated.
Check them now, let them out.
Eddie, have you been signed?
You want Jerome to get the okay on it. See, Jerome got a photostatic memory.
Is the photocopy going to be available downstairs?
I don't know whether one or not, I don't know.
Do you have one at your office?
It's gonna be closed.
Yes, I have, my office is closed. I think she's gone, I think the secretary's gone, supposed to be.
Yeah, here's one right here, they don't know, you know.
Yeah, the alternative would be to sign 4 copies, but it would be nice if we
Y'all
worked
have
from
a
the
copy
side.
of where it's drawn and beat one? I'd like to have one.
Well, that's what we're trying to, he's trying to round up now.
Say what we might end up doing on that, original map.
Here we go.
The original.
Okay.
This is one I can sign?
Now what, you have Charleston
Of
also?
course, the difference is in the amendment right in there. Here's Charleston.
I don't think they have one in the building. They don't have a big enough one.
One thing I do is fold it in half.
He's got one right there. Eddie, wait a minute, we've got one right here. We've got one right here that has the, he needs to sign it. This is Charleston?
Yeah, that's Charles. Is this the same as the little copy y'all have?
Right, that's
My, just make no picture of that. I can't read the map, just in case y'all want.
Took map reading in the army, I know a little about it, not much. Taught it for a while.
Now, are there any other components that we're missing?
Another change here.
I mean, in terms of smaller maps and stuff? You have Sumner Web in there? You have Sumner Web? Sumner doesn't matter, that's all in front.
Change that need to be made on this one, I believe.
It's gonna be simple. It goes down, take Main Street down, see like that. Take Main Street down, it's going around the city limits. See what I'm saying?
Well, what, no, what we need to do on here is to note that this plan is amended in web. Let's make a note on here, right? Right on here. This, please note.
Yeah, that's the way.
Web is, web lines are amended by, what would you call this? The web detail map, amended by web detail map attached here too, okay? How's that?
All right.
Okay, and if you could initial right above that note, and Eddie can sign and also initial above that note. Okay, Eddie, you need to sign, let's say, over here, and then initial over here. Okay.
Who gets it?
They put me in, I'm gonna see if I can get a copy.
Has he signed on
Yeah,
that?
copy.
Have either one of you signed on this one, on Charleston?
Yes, they both said.
You both signed? Okay.
Just case when you think you have a map, a big map for this, you know, and then the board of supervisors will have a big map, and we also have a big map. It's a map that got to be placed in each courthouse.
Let's see, it'll probably take a couple of weeks.
Now, what, where'd Mr. Whitten go? Okay. What have we not done that we need to do to formalize the documentation so that there's no possibility of a misunderstanding?
Make sure you get us some copies of that, brother.
Jonathan, get up, man. Get up. Give me a
Maps that we'll all have copies of. I assume somebody's going to run copies of those,
Yeah, I guess so.
signed maps.
Now, you're getting the census block data from her that supports this, right? If you have any concerns as a result of that, you're going to let us know right away?
Already told her, she asked me to, if I run into any discrepancies, I'll call her first and we'll see if we can work everything out. And when we've clarified everything we can, we'll get back to
First time some redistrict stuff. Wait till you get
Mr. Chairman? Folks, if we can, Mr. President, I'm wondering if I can ask you, Mr. Witten's out at the moment, but when he comes back, would it be appropriate, in addition to having voted to accept the plan, do you need to authorize him to take all steps necessary to enable this plan to be forwarded to the Justice Department for pre-clearance? Do you need to have a separate vote on that? I just want to make sure. I mean, sometimes I've seen that included in the motion or as a separate motion. I just don't want him to be without authority to do what he needs to do. So that's what he's going to be going forward to do? Okay.
So,
No, I don't mean, right now he's getting photocopies, but I mean, I just want to make sure that we don't overlook some detail that we need so that we save that time, because you only got 5 weeks.
so what the board is saying, once the plan is approved, then that gives the attorney the authorization to go forward, to send anything to Justice Department to get this plan approved.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, the second thing is,
Right.
now, the second thing is it would be very helpful to the cause of everybody here if he can let us know as soon as that submission is made to the Justice Department, so that the community can indicate to the Justice Department its support for the plan and urge them to expedite approval of it. Because there's an investigation process that follows this, and they can move very slowly on that or very quickly on that, depending on the circumstance. And we can be helpful, to trying to expedite that approval. What?
Man, we don't need no 2 elections.
No, that's what he is saying. That's what he's saying. If we can get this in a rush, then we can follow up with letters saying that we do approve this plan.
Right.
I sure hope we don't have that.
All right.
You probably want to send a letter with it.
Yeah, right.
We don't need,
That's why I said we need to know when you're making the submission.
don't need no 2 elections.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. I know that, but
No, you don't want that, but that's why you want to get the approval.
I know the way to get approved, then have elections.
I know we're
Yeah.
gonna go to supervisor plan, but we're gonna have to redistrict the justice court judge line. So we got a plan that's coming back here from Atlanta. And that plan should be in here in a little bit. And we are asking for at least 70% justice court jury district, one black 70% justice court jury district, and the other one would be 70 or 80% white. And we're asking that this justice court jury district on this side of the county be at least 70% black, because in the supervisor district, we was asking for at least a 68, 60 some odd percent, and it's going to be hard. Just go judge over here. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't had any interest in that since I got
You speaking about the 1980 census?
Well, I mean, that's what you have to go by.
Yeah, the present. I think it was more people over on this side of the county.
Come on, black and white, that's what it is.
Okay. I really don't know what state.
I would think it'd be close there. You got D4 and 5 and all that too, whether the Tallahatchie River sort of this way.
Only 66%.
But we was looking at, trying to draw the justice court judge lines up in Charleston on the same supervisor lines that Paul H. Ray come out from Europe. The same supervisor line that the justice court judge line be drawn on those lines and make it a lot simpler for everything when we get up in Charleston, because we're gonna have to get up in Charleston because they got more population over there in Charleston. Even though they objected to that, we still, even in the plan that he submitted.
Same lines right now, we can reach it to the center city.
The deviation would be out too far with the same line.
What kind of percent was on the one that I?
66%, I believe. That's hitting Highway 35 north and coming all the way into Charleston until you hit 35, 32 south.
And you want to go to 70?
70, 73 in Charleston.
Basically, what we'll do is like to, when you get to, come into Charleston, run B2 line, put B2, B4, and B5 into the second congressional, justice court jury district. Basically, that's what we're asking. If possible, you know, if it could be done.
You can't put 3 of them in there. The numbers won't work out. You got to split it.
Okay, well, the numbers worked out in the 1980 census, back when you drew the justice court line. You had 1, 2, and 3 in District 1, and you had 4 and 5 in 2.
I wasn't doing it then, but if your supervisor districts are equal, there's no way you can put 3 of them in one justice court district.
Right.
You can put 2 of them and then split them.
Right.
But that's as close as you can get.
But a possibility,
But
since B2 goes across Pleasant Street, why we come into Charleston, run the city limit around to Pleasant, and split, let Pleasant be the cutoff, and don't take in that far upper part of Charleston, just come down Pleasant Street all the way back around and come back out by the courthouse somewhere like that. And then just take in a portion of B2, leaving the northern part of B2 right up there, back out yonder where, out around, whatever call that street back out there. Yeah, just take in, come in, and follow City around the Pleasant, come down Pleasant, all the way back down to Main, and come down Main. And that'll take in a large chunk of B2. Just leaving the north part, but we went out there and did that down and went up.
That's going to take in a lot of people that you got to take back out somewhere.
I just get some ideas, I don't know, but Jim, that'll be up to work out.
But let's, the main thing we want to know is how would the Board of Supervisors proceed on those lines and let us bring a plan and also relay the plan that you had down. Also, I don't foresee it being a real serious problem with the Justice Court jury line.
Is that for this election coming up?
Yeah, it's got to be done.
But we,
So we might well
It
send
really
that
should
with
go in
this,
as a part of this whole thing, and I guess we have the supervisor districts, what we talk about all the time.
Also, we gotta throw the school board lines in there too. That got to be done. We got to need to go.
You know where you can get them in.
They won't have to be done right now.
That doesn't have to be in the same submission, because you have 2 school districts in Tallahatchie, not 1 anyway. So that's going to be 2 different kinds of plans.
That's double the job that the supervisor is.
I kept the original signed copies, and you have 4 copies of the 5 pages. We didn't put in one of some. I don't know.
Well, the whole sum is in 5 anyway.
No
Yeah.
changes, so.
Is there one that we can have?
Oh, yeah. We got 5. I can make them both that up.
I need one of something here.
That's it, I got another, has to.
You got the message.
You got the original, haven't you?
You put the attach it to the order.
Yeah.
Could you make me a copy of it? You got one of those copies that they had here today?
I want to keep one. I'll make a copy for Margaret. This way she can complete her uniform. Okay, does that make sense?
Pull it off. No, I told him that. I mean, it's tough.
Good job. Mr. Whitten, the question I'd ask is, do you need a separate motion authorizing you to go forward to submit to the Justice Department?
It's in the order.
Okay, so that's going to be in. And can you let us know when the submission is made so we can, you know, send letters of support to the Justice Department? Because that'll be helpful in expediting.
I'm gonna depend on Tommy to find some stuff to me that needs to go in, because it's been a long time since I've done it, and that's on the course it should be, so I keep you informed and ask your help too.
Are you going? Is it going to be 2 weeks before that stuff is ready? Is that what you were indicating? What?
I'm sure it'll take at least.
Okay, because there's only 5 weeks to the 19th of July. And what?
Understand that, there's a lot of work.
I understand that. Okay. Would it be, they were talking about the Justice Court judges. Would it be helpful to set some time when, you know, you could have a meeting or a public hearing on your plan and the plan that's being prepared by Southern Regional? Because you're going to want to, he wants to submit that with the supervisor's plan.
I simply don't know. I had hoped that this would we just run this right over through it. I didn't realize there was some controversy about the Justice Court.
Well, they have a plan that they're prepared.
There is no contest right now on it. The incumbent Justice Court judge in this district that will be affected by the black population is not running for Justice Court judge. He's running for a countywide office, so I don't foresee him having any objection. On the other side, we're not really affecting Judge Ross that much. The only thing is that we do have to pick up some population out of Charleston. You know, the concern that you expressed about going up into the city of Charleston and those people having to come way over here to the courthouse and we can't work out any other
Change in.
What I have done to this point is to say in the order pre-adopted that this supervised district also applies to Justice Court districts too. There wasn't any change. But now I'll have to, if there are changes, go into it, I'll have to.
Yeah, I think that would be premature with regard to the Justice Court judges because they want to at least present a plan to the board for consideration. It's being prepared now by Southern Regional Council.
It's going to be July before we back in session.
Well, it may be, but because there's been no public hearing on it.
Unless you consider this.
Well, but they have a plan they want to suggest.
Well, I'm not trying to shut them off. I'm just telling you the reality of it.
Yeah.
That there is enough stuff in the order that I've drawn up this far to get the Justice Court districts by as far as law is concerned, unless it's attacked strong. If people are happy with it, we'll go around and prove it. If you have a plan and you don't want to incorporate that in this order, I'm not doing it.
When would that be going on? You think, how long you think it's going to take you to get that on?
Start tomorrow.
Well, wait a minute. Let me see if I understand what you're saying.
To the Justice Court.
We're talking about they're wanting a plan for the board to consider, not merely to submit to Justice.
No. The plan for the board to consider, we will not consider it sooner than July. So it'll just be separated from this altogether.
That's what you want.
And we may wind up with no justice.
That's what we're trying to avoid, spending money on separate elections if any way possible. Maybe the board can meet 30 or 40 minutes. I don't see it being no long run. I think on Justice Court Judge line, but maybe they could just meet just to approve that, and we get it all in that packet there.
Well, give it a try.
When can you have that plan?
Well, I can call her. I can call her the first thing in the morning, and I'm pretty sure that she could have it ready.
This week? Next week?
Yeah.
Mr. Witt?
I'm sure
It's
she could.
going to be a part of this, it needs to be on this map.
Okay, when are you going to do the map?
Start on it right away. Everybody's after me about how fast I'm going to do it. So I don't know how quick I can get it done.
If I could get it to you.
Well, but they have to vote on it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If I'm gonna find out if I can get it to you, how long does it have to be? If I can get it to
I'd
you.
like to have it this week for sure. So I'm going to put a lot of work on it this week.
Mr. Witt, before you take on, would it make sense to recess this meeting to, say, next Monday, and then consider on next Monday your plan and their plan for Justice Court judge? Or Friday this week?
If you wait till Monday, we're not gonna have maps
Well,
next week.
I mean, let's say Thursday or Friday this week? Would that be possible?
Well, I can't be here. I've got a labor board takes all day Thursday. We got a lawsuit in Chester County. Labor board on Wednesday, labor on Thursday, this on Wednesday, Jennifer on Friday, and I have to go to check all this week, that thing's off, I'm just next week, but it's something I've done for years and years, I don't plan to miss it. That's next week, that's all next week.
Maybe this board of supervisors could deal with that justice court judge, because I don't see it in contest, it's like the supervisor was heated. I don't see justice court judge being that way, because, you know, the only thing is, one district here, one district there.
Let's look at it, we tie it together.
Okay, when do you think would be the appropriate time?
As soon as possible.
Just get the map, and then let me see if I can get it together.
Okay. All right, well, I'll try to have that map in here no later than tomorrow you'll be gone. I was thinking like you wanted.
Well, you can always take a copy of this little, see, you come out of the secretary of this little, get it.
Okay.
We've been working on 35 years, so see.
What else?
I gave you a copy of the proposal I drew on Justice
Just
Court.
go. I probably haven't looked at it, it's in here.
It's in there somewhere. It showed the proposed line and the old line. And to get it to look at 70%, I wouldn't think, surely it was not going to take a snake all over Charleston, because it was already pretty high. It ain't a bad plan just like it is. It's awful easy to show people where they are.
Okay, we might, we're gonna review that plan in depth now that we got some time, and we'll see what.
You'll call me early, very early in the morning, by 9 o'clock. Let me know I can call this man just like a minute.
Okay.
Get all over.
I mean, it's worth it.
Okay, we appreciate it.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about.
I